Hello, my friends, and welcome back to another episode of Amplify with me, your host, Miranda. Now, this week in Amplify, we've been thinking about our senses. You have 5 senses, and they are sight, with your eyes, sound, with your ears, smell, with your nose, taste, with your mouth, and touch, with your fingers. Now, you'll notice I have some lovely flowers here. These are scented stocks, and they've got a very strong smell. They smell lovely. I really like the smell of these flowers. But there's a flower that I wonder if you've heard of called a corpse flower. Now, this flower is huge, much, much bigger than me or you. And it has a really interesting shape. It's got a big sort of dome bit in the middle, and it's got these sort of leafy petals that come out to the side, brightly coloured and beautiful. But here's the most interesting thing about this flower. It stinks. It smells of smelly socks and bin juice mixed together. And it does that for a reason. You see, all the flies and bugs and things that like the smell of rotting meat are attracted to the bad smell, and they climb in thinking they're going to get themselves a treat. But little do they know that the flower is getting ready to snap shut and gobble them up. All these little insects thought they were in for something good, and they ended up being eaten. Sometimes things can look really intriguing and inviting, and we can think that they're a good idea, but actually they're a little bit rotten on the inside. I thought this would be a really good opportunity for us to get our paints out and maybe get a little bit messy. So join me for a craft. We're going to be painting some beautiful flowers using all sorts of things that we find around the house. Now, you know how much I like to rummage through the recycling. So let's see what we can find. For today's craft, you'll need some white paper or card, a few pots of brightly coloured paint. You can choose any paints you like. And you'll see I don't have any paintbrushes. I just have a few bits and pieces I found on the recycling. So let's see what we can make with all these different items. Now, I think since we've been talking about flowers, I should paint some flowers, because not only do they smell lovely, but they look lovely too. So I'm going to start with yellow, I think. And this is what I'm going to do. You can see I found this old plastic bottle in the recycling. And if you look at the bottom, it's got a sort of fluty pattern underneath here. And I think that will make a very interesting design if I dip it in the paint. So I'm going to dip it in this yellow paint and make sure all of the little fluty bits have got some paint on them. Shake it off a little bit so it's not too much. And let's see what happens when I press it on the paper. And remember, this is all about having a fun time with your craft. It doesn't have to be perfect. Let's have a see. Oh, that is actually lovely. Dip a little bit more. I'm going to do another one here. And will it come out just as nice? Yes, I think so. I'm very, very happy with that. I'm surprised with how neat that's come out, because I am a little bit of a messy painter. If you've been watching my videos for a long time, you'll know that I don't mind getting a little bit messy. That's really nice. I wonder if it will work with the bigger bottle. Let's have a see. I have a bigger one here, which has got a different sort of fluty design. And this is a kind of pinkish, purplish colour. Is it going to work the same? Give it a little shake. We don't know how it's going to come out, but it doesn't matter, does it, guys? Because it's all about having a good time with the paint. Let's have a see. Give it a splodge here. Press, press. And oh, that's quite nice. Yes, I do like that. Let's do one more, because this is one of my favourite colours. Give it a little shake. I'm going to put it, I think, about there. Press, press. And 3, 2, 1. Very nice. I'm happy with that. Let's see what else I have. I've also got, I found these corks. Let's see what we can do with that. Maybe some blue. Dip it in the blue. I'm just going to press it. I think I'll put it in the middle of this one. Lovely. Very neat circles. I am surprised at myself managing to make that neat. And now I'm going to use this cotton bud, and I think That's a fantastic colour. Let's dip that in there. You can make all sorts of things. It doesn't have to be flowers. I just thought they're a nice treat for our eyes because they look lovely, and for our noses because they smell quite nice. But don't forget that big stinky flower I told you about. There we go. Now I think it needs stalks. Yes, let's do a stalk. How about this piece of card and some green? I think if I dip this in here like this, is that going to work? I wonder. Get plenty on and press it around here. Now this is going to get messy. Oh, that looks good. Press, press, press. Another one, maybe here. It's going on the table a little bit, but everything can be cleaned. I'm not too worried. You could always put down some old newspaper. This is really looking very lovely. And one more there. And how about if we use this cardboard tube, but instead of keeping it as a circle, let's squish it. You can see I've got paint on my hands, that doesn't matter. We'll squish it and make a sort of leaf shape. Let's dip that in. Dip, 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 dip. And press it there. Oh, I'm loving this. I hope you guys are having a good time making your painting. And when it's finished, you might want to put it on your wall so all your friends and family can see. There. I think I'm just about done. What do you think? I am very happy with my flower painting from all the bits and pieces I found in the recycling. Well, I really enjoyed finding out all the different things we can use to paint that's not a paintbrush. And I liked it so much, I had another go. And this one is lavender, and I used some much bigger pieces of card that I got from the side of a delivery box. And this, see these bits here? This was the cotton buds again, just in some pinks and purples. So that's the lavender. And then I found a sponge, like the sort of one you'd wash up with. Now this was a new sponge to make sure it's clean. And I cut it into triangles, and I did 1, 2, 3 triangles. And then I used the tip of the sponge to make these little fins here. And I made a picture of some fish. This is bubbles made with the corks and a few little bubbles made with those cotton buds again. So you can do all sorts of things. You don't need to have all the right equipment. You can just use the things that are lying around your house. Anything you can get a hold of can be turned into art. That's the amazing thing about art. And don't forget, when you're looking at all these wonderful things and smelling them and using all of your senses, remember our scripture, ears to hear and eyes to see, the Lord has given these to me. And that is in Proverbs 20:12. Now, I think we need to get our bodies moving, so why don't we have our song and say goodbye? And I'll hopefully see you here next week for another episode of Amplify. Until then, take care, God bless, and bye-bye, my friends. Bye, see you next time. We're going to sing He's Got the Whole World in His Hands. Some of my friends here at Amplify have written 3 new verses. And they've thought about the things they're grateful that God has in his hands. So we're going to sing, he's got the cats and the dogs in his hands. He's got the paint and the paintbrushes in his hands. And he's got the pepperoni pizza in his hands. Are you ready? Let's sing. He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the whole wide world in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the cats and the dogs in his hands. He's got the cats and the dogs in his hands. He's got the cats and the dogs in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the paints and the paintbrushes in his hands. He's got the paints and the paintbrushes in his hands. He's got the paints and the paintbrushes in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the pepperoni pizza in his hands. He's got the pepperoni pizza in his hands. He's got the pepperoni pizza In his hands, he's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the whole wide world in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. See you next time. Bye.